Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. There's no more football, so contemplate on canceling the show. Just kidding. Now baseball season's coming up. Super Bowl's over. We were split last time we talked. Half of us thought the Eagles were going to win. Half of us thought the Chiefs. So Chiefs Nation was a great game. All in all, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but it was a great game. Mark, Fish fans, hello. Calvin in the house, fins up. Please, I ask you guys one favor. Do not stop giving me fish fins up, even if it's off season, because I need that love from you. I'm like a little lost puppy here without football.
I think we all are at this point.
Yeah, it's sad because it's such a big part of our lives. But like, I don't know about you guys, but I truly love baseball season, and I mean basketball is like such a big part of my heart. So I go on, but there's like a part of me missing because Dolphin football means so much. I did do a tweet today talking about Dolphin football. It's been like the season's been over. Our season's been over for a little bit, but football season's been over a week. I said the biggest move that the Dolphins will do off season is, and I left it blank, and everyone was like, "Ash, it already happened." Vic, Coach Vic. And like people are like super excited for this. I still think a big shenanigans is going to happen. I don't know where, but everyone's saying the big move already happened with the Dolphins, picked up Vic. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely that's the big news. I would say that before we get to Vic, the biggest news last week for the Dolphins was Zach Thomas getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
We obviously talked about it before last week's show, or during last week's show, heading into the induction announcement, and we told you that we had a good feeling that Zach would get in, and he sure enough did. So,
yeah, last time we talked, it was the NFL honors. We were getting ready to watch it. We had Zach on the ballot. We had Jalen Phillips as Walter Payton. We had Allie going for Fan of the Year. We had so much, and 1 out of the 3 made it.
Tyreek also was Tyreek, offensive player of the year.
Kirk in the house. It's Devils and Red Sox time. Hey, March 4th, I'm calling you.
I told him. Yeah, I told him already.
We may have a date. Even though you're not gonna like my shirt. So this shirt, Sandy Alcantara. He's obviously, you guys know, he's a Cy Young winner for the Marlins. He is my favorite baseball player. But I still love the Red Sox. But going back to the NFL honors. We were watching it, and we were bummed out about Allie. Then we were bummed out about Jalen Phillips, and then they're doing the honors for for Canton, and Hall of Fame. Yeah, and they gave all these players and all these players and all these players, and then we're like, oh man, like this may not really happen, and then all of a sudden, Zach, and then we went wild, and I'm sure, everybody, maybe not Mark, but we all went wild, and finally Zach made it in, and then was able to see the video of him actually finding out for the first time. Totally emotional. The guy's the biggest crybaby, bigger than me. And we're all in cloud 9 that Zach's in. So obviously, without going to say, congratulations, Zach.
A very special honor. And a couple of people hinted at you that Jimmy Johnson being in the audience was a telltale sign. He was the one that gave him the announcement, told him in person at his home. And he's already announced, Zach Thomas has announced that Jimmy Johnson will be doing his speech, his introduction.
I know somebody who is so mad that Zach's in. Sandy, just kidding. I would have paid big money to be a little fly on the wall behind her, Jerry, and Shula to see her reaction when Zach got in. I know Zach's one of her favorite players, and she's planning on going to Canton, along with many of us. We signed up for the announcement. It's something that we're definitely toying with. Oh, she is going to Canton.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
Of course she is.
Eric be in the house. Hey, y'all. What's up? We're just talking about Zach Thomas. Huge. Really excited for that to happen. Now I'll be the first one to say, next one we have to get in, and raise your hand if you agree, Richmond freaking Webb. Richmond needs to get in. He had this amazing career with the Dolphins, but we know him personally. He is the nicest man. Please, even if we have to boycott boycott, we have to get Richmond Webb next year. Agreed?
Yeah. No, Richmond Webb is very deserving. I saw a lot of people also bringing up the Marks brothers.
Richmond first.
Mark Clayton and Mark Duper had stellar careers. I don't see them going in together. I think Clayton had the better career if you look at the numbers, more touchdowns and whatnot. But some people brought them up, and yeah, definitely Richmond Webb. We've been saying it for a long time. A lot of the hardcore Dolphin fans have been on that train. He's more than deserving. You saw a guy like Tony Boselli get in last year. And Tony Baselli had an injury-prone career, but he hung his hat on, this great battles with Bruce Smith, one of them being in a playoff game. And the reality is all Richmond Webb did was have battles with Bruce Smith, who was the all-time sack leader. So, yeah, Richmond Webb definitely deserves to be.
So we have a little insight of what happened in Southern California the night of the Hall of Fame, or the night of the NFL honors. Sandy said, "Oh my God, Jerry was doing dishes and I yelled so hard, Jerry thought I stepped on Shula, the dog." Oh my gosh. Mark said, "Too many players are being placed in the Hall of Fame. That's not a dig at Zach. It's a fact. A lot of players are being put in."
Look, they have the modern day committee, and then they have the veterans committee. So
yeah,
you saw a lot of those guys that went on stage that some have since passed because they've been given this extra chance to get on. I agree, Mark, but look, man, I know you said last week.
Don't take the shine away from us.
Yeah, and I know you said last week that he doesn't need to, but you didn't feel he deserved to be in. But look, man, the numbers tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
And like I said, man,
no, Mark goes and says Richmond Webb. Eric says Zach should have been in, and yes, Richmond Webb needs to be in ASAP, followed by Clayton and Duper. Mark also agrees Richmond Webb is an overlooked player. Kirk says if we can get Richmond in, then I would be content. So we're all in agreement that Richmond needs to be in next.
Yeah.
And Eric said he wants Clayton and Duper. That's a reach. I mean,
well, I think you can't, it's going to be one first and the other. Like I said, I think Clayton has a better body of work, more touchdowns and whatnot. But look, Richmond Webb definitely deserves to get it.
Agreed. We got to make it happen. Yeah. So,
but look, it's a big moment for Zach. Obviously, it's one of it's the highest honor you can get as a football player.
Of course.
It's validation in his career. It's only going to be the third Dolphin defensive player to get in.
I don't know that.
Nick Bonaconti was the first. Jason Taylor, of course, the second, and now Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor's teammate, will be in the Hall of Fame, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Dolphin fans, we haven't had a lot of things to celebrate in the last several decades, I want to say. So taking over Canton's going to be a lot.
Sandy said, "I wish Zach was going on the." I don't know what emoji that is. Is that the toilet? What emoji is that? Sandy, we don't know what emoji that is. It's not coming right up. It's not coming up on the computer nice. I wish Zach was, it looks like the toilet, but I know you're not telling him to go on the toilet. So really funny fact about myself, guys, I'm going to share that I noticed today with numbers. So for example, I'm doing a project at work and I need to raise X amount of money, and it was supposed to be 12 million. And I changed that number to 13 million because 12 I associate with Tom Brady and 13 Dan Marino. So I changed the whole capital campaign to reflect 13 million. Then today I'm doing a fundraiser to raise tickets and we had 99 sales. And all of a sudden I tell my boss, 99, Jason Taylor. So I have like this sick obsession of relating numbers, of just random numbers, to Dolphin players. I need help. I get it. Right. That's a cruise. Emoji looks like a cruise ship. Oh yeah, Sandy is going on that cruise. That's the Dolphins cruise in April.
She was on the ship with Ricky Williams. So
I'm telling you, I want to be like Sandy when I get older. When I become an adult, I want to be like Sandy.
Agreed.
Mark, I don't care what stats say. Zach Thomas is not in the same league as Dick Butkus, Jack Lambert.
Butkus.
What did I say? Butkus?
Yeah, Dick Butkus.
And Mike Singletary. Also, the senior committee should not exist. It dilutes the hall.
I don't think so. I think they're guys that look. You have to respect the errors, right? And we talked about it last week. Joe Namath, even look, Bob Greasy. You look at their body of work and their numbers; they're not Hall worthy when you compare it with today's Hall of Fame players that are being elected. But you got to give those guys their due credit, And Zach Thomas played in an era where he played on a top-ranked defense. He didn't get to playoff games a lot, but he put up the numbers, man. The numbers are the numbers, and I think that you have to pay homage to these guys that are on the doorsteps of Canton. Zach deserves it.
So I want to talk about the Super Bowl.
Well, I
just want to say one thing first.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody win any of their boxes or anybody win any bets? I'm curious to know. We have a good crowd right now. I want to know if anybody won their squares, their boxes, any bets. Drop them in the chat. Lou actually won. You won.
I won one of the boxes, yeah.
The first quarter, was it?
The first quarter. I won the first quarter, 7-7.
7-7. So Lou won that one with his buddies. And then my work does one where we get free boxes and whatever. My boss, spoils us. And I got the numbers 8 and 5 like a week and a half ago. And I was so mad about that. I wanted the 0, the 3, the 7. So when I got the 8 and 5, I was just like, whatever. And I didn't look at it at all. I just didn't even look at it throughout the game. I was focused on the game, focused on the commercials. So then after the game, my phone starts going off for my coworkers, and I'm like, what do they want? Sure enough, I hit the jackpot. So super excited that I hit the 8 and the 5, how it needed to be lined up.
Cha-ching.
And then my 81-year-old grandmother, God bless her soul, she did one through her senior citizen center. She didn't know what she was doing. It was $5. She hit the 8 and 5 too. She had the same numbers I did, and she won a jackpot too. So if you need Lady Lucks, we are your girls. Sandy won a goose egg, and Mark was not in a square pool. So no, I'm lucky. I'm telling you, it's like every year I win something big. Last year we won this trip to Chicago. This year I won Super Bowl, the boxes.
Squares, yeah.
So my one lucky
That's
instance done.
That's good.
So okay, go ahead. We don't talk
No,
about
so back to Fangio. Let's get back to Big Fangio. This guy
he was like an Eagle last week, and now he's with us.
He was
crazy.
a lot of people didn't know he secretly signed a deal with the Eagles where he was a consultant. He wasn't necessarily on their staff. He was just advising them and looking.
Inaccurate. If the Eagles won, he would have won a ring. Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that. I'm saying he wasn't on the actual staff.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean the equipment manager gets a ring too. It doesn't mean that you have to be on the team. But so he was working with them in secret. He was being more so a consultant, just an advisor that gives them. And look, it paid off. Didn't pay off so much in the Super Bowl because the Eagles didn't play up to their level. But the whole year, they were pretty much the top defense in the NFL. So
hold on, I gotta show Sandy. Are you looking? Look, my shirt says your name.
Nice.
It's for you, Sandy. My favorite. No, it's for Sandy Alcantara. I mentioned it before. He's my favorite baseball player in pitchers and catchers reported today. So, but it's Sandy for you. All right, go ahead. Tell me about Vic.
Yeah, no. So
what you know about Vic?
He's a defensive mastermind, obviously, as everybody knows him to be. Defensive coordinator with a bunch of NFL teams, highlighting a couple of the teams that he worked with. New Orleans, he worked with their linebacking core. That's how he got his start in the league. During that time, they had a top 5 defense in the NFL. He was also with Carolina. Carolina at the time was an expansion team, and in their third year, they went to the NFC Championship game, courtesy of his defensive, the whole system he put in there. He also worked in Baltimore. He was a special assistant to the coach.
He's been all around.
He worked with Ray Lewis, and that was obviously a very famous defense that won a Super Bowl just after he left.
People are going crazy that we have him. Like people are like, this is like
the biggest one was San Francisco and Chicago.
Yeah,
that's really where he put a name for himself. So much so that he ended up getting the job in Denver. As the head coach. So finally, all these tremendous jobs that he was doing as a defensive coordinator paid off. He was granted a head coaching job with the Broncos. Now he didn't do too well with the Broncos, obviously,
that was
losing record, and he actually got fired
halfway through,
a couple games into year 3. But again, some people are better suited at just focusing on one thing as opposed to the whole aspect of operations to run a football team, and that appears to be the case with Vic Fangio. And then the big thing here also is that during his tenure in Denver, he of course coached Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb, who we gave up a first-round pick to come down here to Miami, and let's be real, he didn't really live up to expectations when he came on board. We thought that he was going to be the sack machine, and he didn't really. He struggled out the gate and didn't really find his way the way we were expecting him to. But being reunited with Fangio, where he had tremendous success, went to an All-Pro, went to 2 Pro Bowls, and was selected as an All-Pro. That's got to help the cause, right? So it's a big deal getting a guy as highly regarded, and the guy that has gone to all these teams we just talked about and made meaningful impacts, bringing them to the top defensive ranks.
So Kirk said something, but I don't want him to hold his breath. He says, I'm hoping with Fangio, maybe they can restruct Byron Jones for the zones that he runs.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Well, Brian Jones needs to get on the field first of all.
Yes, that's why I said don't hold your breath.
Yeah, no, look, this is what he does. He takes defensive talent, he maximizes them, he puts them in a position to excel.
Yeah.
Whether you're a pass rusher, whether you're a safety, defensive back, linebacker, he puts these guys in position. His schemes work. They're proven success stories. So he can only help. Our defense, let's be real, they took a step back this year. We were a highly regarded defense under Brian Flores.
Xavier Howard didn't do anything. He didn't
everybody took a step back. Jerome Baker didn't have
Jalen had a so-so year.
Jalen,
not terrible for second year.
Fine, but you're right. Again, he's a younger player. But guys like Xavier Howard, guys like Jerome Baker, Andrew Van Ginkel, these guys, they didn't really do what they had been doing in previous seasons.
Sandy said Chubb was a bust in her eyes. I say give it a little time.
I think it was the right move. There's not really a lot of trades that take place during the NFL season. So him coming here and having to fit in, it was a lot to ask for. Let's hope that a training camp under his belt, reunited with Fangio, just really re-energizes him, and it shows it's
Mark's already talking his Bills doo-doo. We torched Vic's defense in Denver. I'm so glad he joined the Dolphins. Hey, everything's different in Miami.
Haters
you never know.
Mark.
Eric, I'm so excited about him. Yeah, no, Eric, that's the consensus. Like, I have, because, like, social media is always like, you love the guy, you hate the guy. Like, I have not, knock on wood, seen any bad thing about people upset about us picking him up. So you are totally in the consensus. I think it's going to be great. Kirk says the zone can help X-Men also man-to-man hurt him. Yeah, he got burned quite often this season.
He was hurt, too. Let's be real. He had a groin issue, and then he had an ankle issue.
Yeah.
So Xavier Howard wasn't right all year. He missed a couple games. So let's hope the rest helps him out. But you're right. He's better suited to not be on an island by himself. But we also, the defensive secondary was decimated by injuries this year, losing Needham. Obviously Jones never took the field.
Yeah.
So it was a tough call.
Sandy, I'm willing to give him time, but I think we gave him a big contract too early. That's facts.
We gave him a really big contract, and that, could prove that, maybe we didn't make the best choice there, giving him a first round pick when we don't have any picks now to begin with. We lost the other one, obviously, with our owner tampering to get Brady down here, and Brady ends up retiring. So that just totally backfired. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we gave him a lot of money. He's got to definitely show he can earn it.
All right. So to switch gears with the not switch gears,
Super Bowl.
I will, but let me still stick on the Dolphins for a sec. A lot of you guys have been asking me about our buddy Gary the Mayor. I have some updates. Most of you who have ordered bracelets have received bracelets. It seems like the only ones who have not received their bracelets yet, go figure, Gary. I sent him this beautiful packet, and every day he sends me a message on Facebook, and he's like, Ash, I still didn't receive it. And he was the first one I mailed out. So that's lost in the mail. But good news is I sent him another one. And Sheldon's not here yet, but Sheldon didn't receive his yet. But I know Sandy received hers. And so thank you guys.
So Sandy got it in California, but Sheldon didn't get it in South Carolina?
Trust me. Everybody in California, my girlfriend Leslie, she got one in California. Everyone in every part of the world got theirs except our guy Gary and our best friend Sheldon.
The most important guy.
Go figure. So,
wow.
But there's a little update on what's going on with him. I know you guys a lot have been asking. He's been in aggressive chemo and radiation, so his treatments do continue to get a little more aggressive. He's in completely good spirits. He's overwhelmed by the love and support that everyone has been giving him. It's every time I say, "Oh, this bracelet," he's just in shock. Like, he loves seeing the pictures of people wearing it, so keep sending it to him. I ran out of bracelets last week. I had to do another order. So this bracelet's actually for Mark Angelo. He's going to pick it up from us next week when he's down here for DCC. Awesome. But definitely, I have a brand new order coming through. We made some donations today for a Dolphins Cancer Challenge. We supported Allie's team. We did a few other teams as well. So the money that was raised is being dispersed into teams. And Dolphins Cancer Challenge is next Saturday, so not in 2 days. Next Saturday, February 25th. It's either the cycle or the 5K or the walk. There was a pep rally that I joined yesterday with Big E and a whole bunch of other people. Elizabeth Jenkins spoke. Beautiful. I mean, when she speaks, that woman is so powerful. And we're all really looking forward to DCC next week. So you guys, if you're going to be there, I can't wait to see you. If not, keep us in your thoughts and prayers. It's going to be a great event. And if you want any Gary bracelets, let me know. So,
yes.
All right. So Super Bowl.
Yes. So obviously the Chiefs won the game. You talked about 38-35. It was their third Super Bowl victory overall, and their second in 3 years. They, of course, won here in Miami in 2020. And then the world turned out to shut down for almost a year. So hopefully history doesn't repeat itself.
COVID.
And
not, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it happened here. I mean, not COVID, but they won the Super Bowl.
COVID did happen here.
Well, they won the Super Bowl, and then next thing you know, like 3 weeks later, the world's completely shut down. So hopefully that doesn't repeat itself. But yeah, so
a lot going on with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so they're now 3-2 in the big game. The Eagles are now 1-3. They won obviously 5 years ago against the Patriots, but they're now 1-3 overall. Mahomes, right? This is the guy.
Why do you say it, Mahomes?
Mahomes.
No, you said it's so terrible.
Mahomes is now 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and he becomes the first player since Kurt Warner in 1999 to win league MVP and Super Bowl MVP. So that is a tremendous honor that he did. Look, there's a lot of exciting plays in this game, obviously. Jalen Hurts, although he was excellent. Jalen Hurts was excellent in this game. But his lost fumble that was run back for a TD by Nick Bolton was a big mistake. He was other than that, he was excellent in this game.
Yeah.
Far better than I thought he would be. He was great in the game.
Yeah.
Bolton, that fumble recovery for a touchdown completely changed the trajectory of the game. Bolton actually had almost a second fumble. Amazingly, he almost had 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns in the same game, but it was called back when Miles Sanders was deemed to not have control of the ball. But
it was a great football game altogether. I mean, very smart football played on both sides.
Yep.
It stayed close to the end. I know most of us predicted, if not all of us, predicted a close game, and that's what we got.
Yeah. So, obviously, like I said, that fumble was huge. The Eagles, at that point in the game, they were 14-7, right? So if that fumble doesn't occur, they're potentially up 17-7 or 21-7. But that was a momentum changer in the game.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, I mean, this guy just disappeared. I was asking you if he was hurt.
You're like, go check him.
Yeah.
And he was like MIA.
Again, I'm not on Twitter, but you were telling me that everybody on Twitter was saying, where is this guy?
Yeah.
Miles Sanders had a really good season and, was meaningful and made an impact in the playoff games. Completely disappeared in this game.
Yeah.
7 rushes, 16 yards only.
Terrible.
No catches.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very odd to see and very disappointing for the Eagles. They didn't show up. Another big problem for the Eagles, another big thing that didn't show up was their defense. I mean, like we talked about earlier, Eagles defense this year was dominant.
Travis Kelce had a really good game. Pacheco had a good game. Kansas City's a really good team.
Right, but I'm talking about, the Eagles defense just completely not showing up.
Yeah.
Mahomes, here's a guy that I picked the Eagles to win, and one of the reasons was because, Mahomes was hurt going into the game.
We knew that, yeah.
And then
he got hurt again.
Exactly. Going into the half, he gets hurt again. So the Eagles had every opportunity.
But that was the perfect time for him to get hurt if it was going to happen. Like, that was the perfect time.
Especially with like a 45-minute halftime show, to heal up. But, look, he was hurt going into the game. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He re-aggravates that injury, and the Eagles still couldn't get to him. A team that had 77 sacks during the season had no sacks in this game. That was very mind-boggling and tough to see. Mahomes overall didn't put up great stats. Good.
Kirk will let you know. Catch you later. So
yes,
the village is shut down at 9 o'clock, so Kirk has to go. We were making fun of each other with that. We'll let you know for sure. It's most likely going to be a yes.
Looking forward to seeing you, Kirk. Yeah.
Neither defense showed up.
Yeah, neither defense
showed up. There's a lot of holes.
True. But specifically, the Eagles were the better defense. I think everybody said that, and it was just mind-boggling how they couldn't get to Mahomes, especially with the injury. Mahomes didn't have great stats, but he rushed for 44 yards on a bad ankle and 26 yards on that game-winning drive on that final scramble, which was amazing. So,
Mahomes faked his injury.
I don't know about that. You're talking about a little Kurt Schilling bloody sock situation? Is that what you're saying? I don't know about that.
You have jokes. Nah, if it was up to us, we'd live up there too. Miami's crazy. I would love to live in the villages and have a nice, relaxed. We're coming for you. A few more years, we'll be there. We'll retire in like 9 years.
Not you.
I can sneak up there. They'll just think I'm your granddaughter.
Put a wig on you or something.
I already have one. I'm just kidding.
Of course, everybody's talking about the crucial call on the Eagles, James Bradbury, the cornerback, and that hold on Juju Smith-Schuster. Mm-hmm. Look, the issue that I have is that it shouldn't even have gotten to that point. The Eagles had plenty of opportunities to close this out and really take control of the game, and they weren't able to do so.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. That flag at that time of the game, you just don't do it. You just don't do it. I know people are gonna. I don't know if our Eagles friends are in the room.
No Eagles fans. We only have a Bills fan.
They're probably. I know a lot of Eagles fans that are really hurting. We know
a lot of
our friends went to the game. So it was a big shock for them. And I know they're hurting, but man, that you just don't throw that flag during that time of the game. And the whole game, there was not a call like that. So they let a lot of stuff go. And now all of a sudden, when the game's reaching its crescendo, you're going to throw that out there and completely change the course of the game, because that play essentially allowed the Chiefs to run out the clock where the Eagles wouldn't have any meaningful time to counter with a score. So
my buddy Ladarius Brown, who's actually he has a very great podcast, covers all sports. made a good point. The Chiefs defense let Jalen Hurts go off for 300 plus passing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. The Eagles defense failed in the red zone, especially.
Absolutely. And Jalen Hurts also, to that point, he also had 77 yards rushing. He was the leading rusher for the Eagles in the backfield. So Mahomes, Hurts did whatever he wanted.
Mark, I've seen far worse penalties not get called. It was a well-called game for the most part. Some ones were a little questionable.
It was. But look, the Chiefs were right there. So let's say you eat that flag. You don't throw that flag. It was a foul. Don't get me wrong. Even Bradbury himself said, hey, I did. Yeah. I held him. I held his jersey. So it was a penalty. No doubt about it. But I just don't think you call it. It wasn't game-changing. It wasn't bang-bang. The ball was overthrown.
Yeah.
I don't think the holding of the jersey, stopped him from making a diving catch on that ball. So I just feel that at that time of the game, you eat that flag, right? The Chiefs are already in field goal range. So worst thing happens. You don't call that play. No one's going to go crazy, right? Yeah. They kick that field goal. You give the Eagles a ball. We either got a tie game or the Eagles win it. But the fact that it ended, All
right, enough with the Super Bowl. We all watched the game. All of us watched it. Let's talk about what really matters.
Hold on. Last thing I got to say this, because this is the important thing. Patrick Mahomes, right?
I'm so tired of hearing him.
You are, but it's got to be said.
What?
This guy, he is officially in the GOAT conversation. I mean, he probably was going into this game,
he knew it. He's
and he didn't need to win. I know, but
listen,
when you have 2 Super Bowl titles
and
2 Super Bowl MVPs, and that's where I'm going.
And a crazy wife and 2 babies at home. He's the real GOAT.
He's only 27 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in that room. He could go into the room. He's officially inside the room, and he could talk with the other GOATs. He may not be able to sit at the table yet, but if he wins one more, he's sitting down, and he's going to see Brady on one side, Montana on the other side, Manning in the middle. He's going to be able to sit at that table the next win that he gets. And he's only 27 years old, so guess what? If you're out there, he's probably going to get another one.
So, Mark, so glad you brought it up. Question for you both, and I want your answer as well, so you better be dropping it in the chat. What was the best and worst Super Bowl commercial? I will start. I went on a podcast Monday morning, and I was so excited to share it. They actually asked me that question as well. My favorite Super Bowl commercial, it's probably not the most popular one, but when it happened, I got up. I didn't get up, but I started okay. My favorite Super Bowl commercial was the one with the animals, the Jeep commercial. When all the animals were doing their things, the sloths, the giraffes, the lions, the animal commercial blew me out of the water. My second favorite commercial was the Disney commercial. I have such a soft spot for Disney, and when they played all the movies and stuff, totally got me. But somebody said the reason why they play the Disney commercials because Disney's hurting. And Disney just laid off 15,000 people too. So I would definitely say my favorites are Jeep and Disney, which is pretty much. Ladarius said my favorite commercial is the Dunkin' Donuts one with J-Lo and Ben Affleck. That was the most popular one that I heard around the board that people liked as well. That was a very popular one. What about you? Did you have a favorite one?
I was going to say that one. That was one. And my second, probably my most favorite actually, was the hold. When they're on hold and that music's playing.
Oh, yeah, you did like that.
I was going to cue it up. But when the music's playing and you're on hold,
and the guy puts the phone on the head.
The guy comes out and he starts dancing and doing all the moves. Mimicking the song. I thought that was awesome. That got a chuckle out of me.
That was a good one. I was going to say another one and I just forgot. Mark said best commercial, Blue Moon beer.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that one either, but I remember people talking about it. Dunking was lame. No, Dunking was a popular one.
I liked it.
No, but there was some really good ones that
supposedly I did read something about that there were a lot of outtakes because a lot of people apparently are not Ben Affleck fans, I guess. Yeah. And when they pulled up to the drive-thru and he's taking their order, because that was like a real thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't like actors. A lot of people didn't really take too well to that.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of bloopers apparently in outtakes. So I hope that gets released at some point.
I also like the commercial where it looks like the game was live and the announcers and then the change with the remote. It went to the awesome. Not the U-verse, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
The apps.
Yeah. Because I know so many women got scolded at by their husbands or boyfriends saying, why did you change the channel? Even you looked at me and you even said a comment.
I knew it was a joke.
No, but you thought for a split second you thought I changed it. I looked at you why did you change it? And so that commercial was really.
If by chance you're not watching the Super Bowl on a smart TV, and I would imagine everybody is at this point, that must have really threw them for a loop because they don't even have those features.
Best Foods mayonnaise was good until Pete Davis showed up.
Oh,
Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
It caught
Pete
attention.
Davidson. Nobody likes Pete Davidson.
No, so that was interesting.
What about the halftime show? What was your opinion on the halftime show?
So I love Rihanna's music. I love her music, but her performance was not great at all. Granted, I feel bad for saying that because she's like super preggo. Like we didn't know that she has like a thing on her, like a whole child she's carrying. I didn't like the marshmallows, the people. No, it wasn't my favorite, but I love her music, so I'm kind of torn. And I really felt like she didn't want to be there. She hasn't performed in like 4 years.
Right.
She hasn't dropped any really new stuff. And I just felt like and I also found out driving to work the other day that performers do not get paid for halftime shows.
No.
Yeah. So it's like you're super prego. You have a toddler at home. And you're performing on the stage. Granted, it's good for her, but she was just not into it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the NFL sees it is that they're doing you a favor, right?
Yeah.
They're giving you free publicity. At that point is when a lot of people that are announced are coming up with a new album. They're going to tour and whatnot. But yeah, to your point,
she just wasn't into it.
It was but also all the Super Bowl performances, if you try to find them, they're flagged. Like the NFL is really strict on their rules. So I thought same thing. I thought it wasn't anything. I enjoy her music. I just didn't think there was anything that took it over the top. Obviously, she was. She really couldn't do a lot with her condition.
Know. I just want to say, I don't know what it is to be pregnant, but I can't imagine me being fat. I can't even dance like that. So to have a child, they did say that most likely, if not next year, within the next 3 years, Taylor Swift's gonna have a halftime show. And I think she's gonna do awesome. She'll rock it.
I personally rather see a rock show with the fireworks and because it's tough to even Rihanna. She did 13 songs, but she only did the first verse of each one because she just tried to power all through them. Yeah. And I did also put a thing on Facebook that I thought was funny, and a lot of Dolphin fans might enjoy it as well. Rihanna does have a song called "Wild Thoughts" where she mentions the '68 Jets in the lyric. And I said that if she does get to that second verse, then it would be the first time since 1968 that the Jets were mentioned in a Super Bowl broadcast. It didn't happen though. So the Jets still haven't been mentioned in a broadcast since 1968.
All right, enough about the Super Bowl. We just have to wait till the NFL draft. Obviously, both Dolphins Cancer Challenge next week. Then we have the NFL draft. So doesn't mean we're going to stop talking about football. These lips don't ever stop talking about football. But that's what we got for you now about football.
The NFL is, it's a king sport, right?
Yeah.
Now look at David Carr's. He just got let out of his contract this week. So there's so many moves taking place.
Worst commercial, M&M's with the clam-filled candy. Serena Williams talking about the teamwork by selling booze.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know what our buddy Russ Taylor's bad takes are. Mark and Russ are our movie critics, and those are pretty bad. But no, so we're still going to talk about football.
The NFL's year-round. It's a year-round discussion.
Heck yeah. So Miami Heat, right? We just lost our last 2 games, unfortunately, but we are going into the All-Star break. So Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero will be representing the Miami Heat in the All-Star break in Utah. Bam will be in the All-Star game, and Tyler Hero will be in the 3-point shootout, which he's very, very excited about. He's already talking a lot of hot antics to the other guys, saying hey, don't sleep on me. But Tyler's like that. So super excited to see Bam Bam and Tyler Hero in the All-Star game. I love the All-Star weekend for the NBA. Same with the Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend. Not so much, obviously, the Pro Bowl and stuff, but really excited to see what our guys do out there in Utah. And then our next home game's not till March. So
right, the Sixers come to town March 1st, so it's a while. We obviously have the break now, and we go on the road for a little bit. So,
but that's good because our team's pretty banged up. Obviously, Duncan Robinson came back last game after his wrist injury, and he was not obviously off. Victor Oladipo is back on the bench. Kyle Lowry, Omer Yurtseven, still with his ankle. There are so many injuries that we really need a healthy squad to finish out the season and to be a contender in the Eastern Conference, because that is it's a very, very, very tight conference. We actually, by us losing yesterday, dropped a game behind the Knicks now. So that hurt us.
In the 7th spot, and you're in the play-in tournament now if it ends like that. So you're trying to avoid that. Look, I would say this with the Heat. First of all, very happy for Bam. Very well deserved. Bam's really been coming on as of late. So
Yeah, they showed up.
He definitely deserves to be in Utah. But a guy like Tyler Hero, he's kind of been a little bit inconsistent this year. He actually hit a game-winning shot in Utah. So hopefully him being back there and maybe winning the three-point contest re-inspires him because he needs to be more consistent. So does Max Strus.
Don't talk about it.
And look, the reality is the East got weaker with Kevin Durant and Kyrie leading, right?
Yeah.
So the Nets can be caught now. And the Heat, I know they didn't make any big moves, but they didn't really lose anybody except PJ Tucker. So they're the same team. PJ. They're the same team that was within a shot of going to the finals last year. So if they get healthy, I don't think anybody's going to want to see them in the first round or second round.
So the big rumor spreading is two names that may or may not happen with the Heat. Do you know what they're talking about?
Yeah, I heard it. They're talking about Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love. Yeah. Russell Westbrook was bought out by the Lakers last week during the trade deadline, and Kevin Love was bought out actually this morning.
Who would you prefer?
Neither.
If you had to pick, if Pat Riley said, "Louis Dominguez, pick one," who would you pick?
If Victor is good to go between him, Gabe, and whatever Kyle can give you, I'm not putting another point guard in that aspect. Russell Westbrook's a guy that needs to have the ball, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with that mix. Kevin Love, he's played his best basketball. His best basketball is behind him. He's a big body, but I don't think either of those guys is going to make a big impact, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it just talks at this point. The only big thing that we've done recently, not big, but big, was we got rid of Deadman. And so it's kind of like, well, maybe if they're going to do something, they're going to do it now. But we'll see. So we get a little break from basketball, which I'm not happy about because you just took football away from me. Now you're taking basketball. But good news is pitchers and catchers report to camp today. And we are, obviously, you guys know I'm a Red Sox fan, but I love the Marlins. We went to Fan Fest last week. We had such a great time. It was open to the public, and it was packed, right? Like, they were Marlins fans like that. You never even knew they came out of the woodworks. Like, it was packed. We met some really, really great players. And the big announcement that they had, right? They hyped it up saying a big announcement. Being a Marlins fan, who knows what they're going to say, right? Did they sell the ballpark name? Is it going to go Loan Depot to something else? Who owns the team? They announced that Teal Fridays are going to be happening. So on Fridays, wear your old school teal Marlins jersey that is back this year. We also got the chance to meet Skip, our new skipper. Such a nice guy. Really excited to bring him on board. Lou asked his girl Kim, Miss Kim, I don't know. GM, okay, GM Kim. Yeah. I personally told her that I was displeased that Jesus Aguilar was let go, per se, from the Marlins last year. And we asked her about Sixto, our pitcher, this prospect.
It's going to be a process. We don't know what's going to happen.
But still, the Marlins have a lot of great things to look forward to. Obviously, this is the ninth time I'm bringing up his name, but Sandy. Sandy is, he's young, he's fresh, he's fun, he's great. Jazz Chisholm gets moved to center field. A little questionable about that, but he's excited. And we signed the guy from the Phillies, Segura. And we have a great squad. So
Luis Serraz, he was the batting champion in the American League. He beat some guy called Aaron Judge. I don't know if anybody's heard of him, but Aaron Judge, a very good baseball player. He actually had a better batting average than him and won the batting title. So
we're hoping for a good year.
Yeah, they made some. I wouldn't say hoping for a good year. We're still in a division that has
negative.
No, I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm being, I do what I always do, is be honest. The Phillies are the defending National League champions. You got the Braves that went to the World Series and won it the year before, and the Mets just signed Verlander, Justin Verlander. So there's a lot of tough.
Mark asked a question that's going to ruffle your feathers. Mark, if I asked him this, he would have lost his cool, but since he likes you, I'm going to just push the button and let you go on a spiel.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I do not like the new rules at all. At all. How much time you got, Mark?
He's on the West Coast, right?
Yeah. Look, Mark, the baseball is baseball, man. You either like it or you don't. You're not going to all of a sudden be appealing to the hipsters or the hip crowd. Or it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of baseball, right? It's the only game without a clock. The only other sport without a clock is tennis. Every other sport,
and golf.
Well, it's fine, but every other sport,
and pickleball,
every other sport, major sport, every other major sport has a clock. Yeah. Baseball, there's no clock. So now to change all these rules to gear to people that you're going to shorten the games
Mark,
by.
he hates it. Short answer. He doesn't like
You're going
it.
to shorten the game by 10 minutes, and people are now all of a sudden going to start watching the game. No, it is what it is. And then you're also messing with a competitive balance, right? When you're making the bases bigger, when you're limiting how many times you can throw over the base. What do you think that does? Let's say if you know that I can only throw over 3 times.
Yeah.
What are you going to do after I throw over that 3rd time? You're going to.
Whatever you just hit, you just.
I didn't touch anything.
He's like throwing his arms in the midst of the Wi-Fi signal.
You got me riled up, Mark. The other thing I don't like, Mark, is the runner at second base for extra innings. I think that's baloney. All right. I've been to 20-inning games, 17-inning games at the old stadium, at the new stadium. There's nothing for my money like free baseball. And you know that I love free stuff. So when you tell me that I get to see free baseball, I'm all about it. I understand that they want to shorten these games because there's kids in the crowd. Well, you always have the option to leave. But if I came in there and the score is tied, and now you're going to all of a sudden put a guy at second base to make the game finish sooner, you lost me. Now you're doing something to mess with the integrity of the game.
Mark hates it too. You agree with something with the Bills fan.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate
People
it.
don't understand the strategy that goes behind baseball.
Yeah,
Agreed.
seriously.
Another news about baseball, World Baseball Classic is starting up in 2.5, 3 weeks. I mentioned this before. I love World Baseball Classic. It is one of my favorite sporting events ever. It's essentially like an all-star game, and people are so proud to be repping where they're from. A lot of pride in that. So I love it. And I am still strongly going for DR. I think DR, it has the best squad, all from the top to the bottom. I would obviously want Italy to win, but the only person I know in Italy is Mike Piazza, and he's not even playing. He's coaching. And, of course, USA, but I'm still strongly going for DR.
USA all the way, baby. The first time ever in history, all 3 rounds will be here in Miami. We are going to get our pool is Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Israel, and Nicaragua. Superbowl. And so we'll see all those teams match up with each other. Then we get the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the championship game. So it's a great time to be in Miami. Supporting the beautiful game of baseball.
Yeah. A lot of great all-stars are going to be down here.
Yeah, and to your point, Fan Fest was amazing.
We had a good time.
A lot of people showed up. Look, everybody's 0-0, right? The season's about to get started. We made some good moves. Wish we would have made more, but we made some good moves. You're excited, right? The grass is green right now and fresh, and everybody's ready to go. The teal announcement of the teal jerseys was awesome. And it should be getting ready to get for an exciting season.
Mark's going to say something here that you're going to like.
All right.
And I know you're going to support this. If baseball wants to do something for the real fans, bring back the doubleheaders.
I love
doubleheaders. You guys are best friends. Go on through romance.
So part of the reason I love the new Marlins ballpark, don't get me wrong, but with the roof, there's no rain delays. At the old stadium, without a roof, it rains all the time here in South Florida. So there was always doubleheaders. And I would pick my games that I attended around doubleheaders. I mean, you told me that I could be at 2 games, 9 innings, 18 innings of baseball, and probably be at the ballpark for 8-9 hours. Don't tease me with a good time. I'd be there for 12 hours if you allowed it.
Margot said the runner at second and this runner at second.
So lame.
I hate that as well.
So lame. Oh, it's terrible.
All right, enough about baseball. It's coming before we know it. Florida Panthers is obviously, you guys know we don't show them enough love, and they're right here. They have a game Monday at 1:00. We actually got invited. They're playing good hockey. Yeah. They made it to the playoffs last year.
They're just outside the playoffs this year, but they're playing well of late, and we got to support them. They're actually just coming off the All-Star break, so the Heat are going. The Heat are going into the All-Star break. The Panthers are coming back from the All-Star break. Plenty of hockey left to play, and I think they could put it together here.
I just got kicked out of my own show. Ashley, you can leave now. Lou and I need to spend some time together. Oh my God, let you be. Please have him. He comes with a lot of baggage, including his 900 bobbleheads that you need to see his Facebook post if you haven't. And then emails work, leave us alone. And then last but not least, let's wrap it up by talking about college basketball. The Hurricanes are hot this year. Hurricanes have been up and down the last few years, but they have something special this year. We went to the game against Virginia Tech, ranked team. They won, and they've just been blowing people out. They beat Duke, and they're continuing, and they are going to make a name for themselves in March.
Yes, absolutely. I did want to, you cut me off for baseball really quick, and I forgot. I wanted to circle back to this.
Yeah.
There was actually some very sad news today in baseball.
Passed,
Tim McCarver, a longtime announcer, he also was a catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, won a couple World Series, and was the catcher for the majority of Bob Gibson's career. Bob Gibson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
I remember Tim McCarver from my childhood. Before the Marlins, I was a Met fan because they were on TV.
I don't think they know that about you.
Yeah, it was. I know a lot of people won't like that, but it was either Yankees, Mets, and all my friends were all, Yankees this, Yankees that, so many titles. And I was like, you know what? I'm sticking with the Mets, I guess, at that point. And Tim McCarver called all those games. And then after that, he obviously went on to call games nationally for Fox.
Yeah.
He called 23 World Series. Very eloquent voice, a true professional. Always told it like it is. There's a lot of stories today that came out of him that whenever he said something on the air, he would always go to the clubhouse the next day and stand there and said, look, if you didn't like what I said, I'm here. Talk to me.
Well,
not confrontational. Just he wouldn't say something and throw somebody under the bus and like run and hide or avoid them. He wanted to
that's respectable.
Yeah, engage in conversation. Look, I said something. I'm sorry if you were offended, but let's talk about it. And so everybody gave him mad props for that, and just a true giant of the game, one of the great broadcasters and faces of baseball for sure. So that was sad.
As long as we're not Dodgers fans, I'm cool with you. Go Giants. Nah, we don't like the Dodgers. I like Mookie Betts, but that's all.
Yes.
So
we lost also. If you're a Giant fan, you could agree also that even though you are a Giant fan, you probably hate the Dodgers. You must agree that Vince Scully was the greatest that ever did it, and he of course passed last year as well. So
didn't Deion Sanders pour water on his head?
He did. That was a big incident. So that's what I'm talking about. Tim McCarver, it was a game that Deion played, actually, going back to the Dolphins. He played for the Falcons in a game here in Miami, and then that same day, he flew up to try and play in a baseball game. He never really got in the game, or if he did, he got in as a defender in the game, I want to say. But he wasn't as good a baseball player as it was football.
Yeah.
But Tim McCarver said, hey, Deion, what are you doing here? This is the playoffs. You're either a football player or you're a baseball player. You don't pick and choose what team you're going to help, and especially not in October, at that time of the season. So he kind of called him out for it, and Deion got his revenge, I guess, if you will, by pouring water on his head. And that was kind of classless. He didn't, and I like Deion Sanders, but
have you ever had water poured on you?
No, I don't think so.
I did to one guy once. He deserved it though.
Oh boy.
Vince Scully was great. He grew up as a Giants fan. He brings it back to Giants, of course. But if he wasn't a Giants fan, you wouldn't have liked him. Just kidding. So wrapping up, college basketball is starting to all come together. My St. John's are struggling, but we did have a big win last week. You made a comment this week talking about our March schedule. You're like, and what if St. John's makes March Madness? And I wanted to go tell you to fly a kite because I felt like that was the biggest jab, because you and I both know St. John's is not making March Madness, and they might not even make the NIT at this point, and I'm very aware of that. So do not even try to butter me, sugar me, coat me up, and say St. John's is making March, because they're not.
Well, look, you still have a chance, and this is what I love about college basketball is that you play your season, right? And everybody knows, or if you don't know,
there's too much talent in the Big East.
At the end of the season, you have a conference tournament. And if you win that conference tournament, if you become that Cinderella story and you win 4 games in 4 days, you could get into the tournament.
So St. John's, you're telling me St. John's won the Big East tournament?
I'm not saying that they will. I certainly wouldn't pick them to do it, but I wouldn't put it past it happening. It's happened before. It's happened a lot, actually, where these teams catch fire over a weekend and they're in the dance. So I always equate it to, and I'll say this a couple of times as we get closer. To me, the best example I can tell you is that it's like you're a kid in school that's failing the whole year, and all of a sudden you're able to go to summer school and advance to the next grade. Well, you could have a bad season, kind of like St. John's is having in basketball,
I hope you're right.
and you get hot in the right time, you can get invited. So hold
on. My Michigan Wolverines are nothing special in basketball this year.
They're looking really bad.
That's your brother's favorite team.
Yeah,
his brother's
they lost a lot of talent, and Juwan Howard just really has lost the team at this point. So I don't know what's going on, but Michigan looks really bad.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but you were kind of mentioning that the Hurricanes are, having a great year. I'm an Arizona Wildcat fan.
But we support the locals.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're not big fans here,
we want to talk about the Hurricanes and what they're doing. They are ranked 15th currently.
Yep.
They are undefeated at home.
Yeah. The girls are doing great too.
The girls are doing fantastic.
Yeah.
So This is your show is a local show. You support everything inside of 305, and you got to give due credit to the Miami Hurricanes basketball
boys and girls,
team.
men's and
Both
women's.
programs, men and women's programs, are really balling out, and they're going to make a great run
in March.
Yeah, and it starts actually locally, not locally here, but one of the tournament sites is in Orlando.
Yeah.
So if the Hurricanes keep on doing this
They'll play locally.
they're going to start to play their first 2 games in Orlando,
which fill it up.
That helps. That helps a big deal.
Yeah, it'll be really good for a lot of fans to be able to get there. Because Orlando's only 3 hours away without traffic.
Absolutely.
So that's what I got for you guys. Anything else you'd like to add? I can get one thing. We watched a movie last week. This is not about sports. What's the movie called that we watched last week?
Which one?
The one that gave you nightmares.
Oh, I don't know what it's called. I don't even want to relive that movie. But
there's this movie that we watched last week on like Showtime or HBO Max. It's about these 2 girls that get stuck on top of a cell phone tower, but it's not. And you guys, Lou and I have watched hundreds of movies, all different types. Happy, sad, da-da-da-da. Do not watch this movie. This grown 40-something-year-old man had nightmares about this movie. He's watching it. His hands are sweating. His feet are sweating. He was like given labor in bed watching this movie. Then he had a nightmare about it. And I will let you guys know.
I'll admit it. I normally I don't like to be rubbed and teased like this on the air, but hey, listen, I'll take it for what it is. I was a little bit jittery above it. I did get some nightmares because it's scary. Look, I'm scared of heights. I mean, I could stomach them. I'll do them, but this was like really exploiting and really prying at my
they climbed up like this. It wasn't a cell phone tower because it was one of those monster like single towers like in the middle of nowhere.
It had a little red light on top. Tells you how high it was.
And then the ladder like broke and they were stuck up there and the platform was only a little small thing. And then
for two of them on this little thing, and they're hovering over it. It's windy.
It was so memorable that you couldn't remember the title. I'm gonna look it up right now.
I don't want to give it away, but it was very harrowing, and it looks so real. Like you felt like it was like the shots that they were getting, like it was.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what it's called. Fall. So here it is. Hold on, this big tower that you guys can see there. They got stuck on it, so it's called Fall. And Fall is a 2022 survivor thrill film directed and co-written by Scott Mann. The film is about 2 women who climb a 2,000 feet tall radio tower. It gets stranded at the top with no way down. So
don't say anymore.
I'm not going to say anymore. Here's what the thing looks like. But I'm telling you, I don't ever promote like movies or anything. But this movie called Fall, because eventually, whatever, really, really messed us up this week. Not messed me up. I was fine. But this man was like terrible. I haven't seen a movie in the theater.
I can admit it. Listen.
It wasn't in the theater. Oh, I don't know if it ever made the theaters, but it was on HBO or Showmax. So
I don't remember being in the theater.
If you guys want to like ruin one of your nights this week because you don't have football and baseball and basketball and you just
they may like it. They may not be like me. That I'm scared of heights. I love horror movies. I can stomach anything. But this one,
he did really.
I wasn't scared of it. It just, it was like really nerve wracking. I felt like I was in the movie. Like
your hands and feet felt like you were in a river, and then you had nightmares all night.
I did. I'll admit it. Go
all
ahead.
Right. So
make fun of me, guys. I can admit.
Don't worry, Mark will comfort you. Hang it. No. All right. I got nothing else for you. Yeah,
that's it. Just obviously it's a sad time. The NFL is over, so we got to make do. But look, there's still basketball, hockey, and then baseball's right around the corner. And like you said, the NFL is a year-round sport. We already know. You actually mentioned who the possible opening opponent might be for the world champions. It might be us.
Yeah.
It might be the Dolphins. So we narrowed it down to 4 teams. The Chiefs,
the Bills,
who are the defending champions, they play the Bills, Bengals, us, and the Eagles.
It won't be the Eagles.
It won't be the Eagles because they never do Super Bowl rematches right away.
Yeah.
You would want to think that they would save Mark's in the room, so you'd want to think that they would want to save the Josh Allen Mahomes matchup
later in the season
for like Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
And do the same thing with Burrow and Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a really good chance. I don't want to get people excited. Don't quote me. You're the one that actually brought it up and brought it to my attention. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Dolphins opening up at the defending champion Chiefs to start the NFL season.
I'm good with that because we plan on going to that game in Kansas City in the winter. I'm sure it gets icky.
Yeah,
so I go to Kansas City in the summer, early fall.
Agreed. And if we get lucky, the Royals are in town, so we can knock off a baseball because the stadiums are right across from each other. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, look, a lot of hype would be for that game is Tua obviously coming back after not playing since Christmas and missing the last month and a half of the year. And Tyreek Hill coming back to Kansas City. So
25 days to free agency, 70 days to the draft.
That's right, baby.
Keep us updated.
I would not be surprised if
CBS will fight to keep Mahomes versus Allen.
That too, yeah.
That's a good point. You're so smart.
I just don't think they want to put those matchups right out the gate. You know, you want to save those in your pocket. And you're right, CBS will do everything possible to keep that in their hands.
I got one last thing to say. I'm so glad this whole entire show there was no mention of Tom Brady. Guys, we are.
Well, you just did.
No, I'm so glad because we always get stuck on that topic. Sandy brought it up, I think, at some point in the chat, but it's been a great show with no mention of Tom Brady.
You know what's crazy? I see you mentioned it, so I'm just going to go ahead and piggyback
170th an hour. Here he goes.
Well, no, we'll go exactly to an hour. So he did mention, and I'm surprised I didn't see an 80 for Brady movie.
It's out.
Yeah, I know, but there was a commercial for it. Think about that. That would be like an easy commercial during the Super Bowl to play. Anyways, he mentioned that he is not going to start with Fox until 2024.
Yeah. He wants a year to figure out life.
So he's going to sit out. I don't believe that. I think Tom Brady is too arrogant, too big-headed. You're going to tell me he's going to disappear for a year and we're not going to hear about him?
That'd be the best thing for him.
That'd be the best thing for a lot of us. But I don't see that
in his head. He just maybe needs to rediscover himself.
I don't know.
You don't know him.
The same guy that posted a selfie of him and with shirtless next to a bed.
You wish.
Come on. I'll believe Tom Brady's gone for a year when I see it and when I hear it.
Lou, I hope he does. I wish everybody had that opportunity to just rediscover themselves.
I wish he would go inside a dark room with Aaron Rodgers and stay there. Aaron Rodgers walks out and leaves him locked in that room.
I wish I could take a year and he needs the attention.
Okay.
Oh, maybe. All right. I'm sorry I brought it up. Anyways.
Try.
Next week. Next Wednesday, Thursday. One of those days.
Yep.
We'll come back.
Days we'll do it.
Hopefully we'll have some big football news. Probably not though, right? Who knows? The Dolphins. Watch them do something crazy the next few days. But anyways, guys, it's been fun. Enjoy the All-Star break this weekend. Go Jimmy Butler. Just kidding. He's not playing. Go Tyler Hero. Go Bam Adebayo. I hope we really make our mark at the All-Star break this weekend. And start getting into baseball because we're ready for it. We're here for it.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right, guys. In the meantime, again, Gary bracelets we still have a new order coming in. You want to get them, please support Gary. $6. All the money is going to DCC to support Gary and his name and to be by his side as he battles pancreatic cancer. So until then, talk to you guys soon.
And have a happy President's Day weekend, you guys. Long weekend coming up. Enjoy it.
Bye.